Hi, Nick Collier here, and this is my shop. Come join me. We'll have some fun. Okay, so we've got everything all welded up, and we're hoping that it's welded enough. Probably not. There might be some more, couple of more little low spots or something. But let's turn it back down and see what we come up with. Okay, so I don't know if you've noticed, but this is a little bit wobbly. So what we need to do before we go any further, I think we're pretty close. I'm not seeing any major divots. Well, maybe right there. That's a pretty major divot. And there's another one there. That one could use a little filling. Just a little bit right there. Mostly out on the end there. So, okay, so we're going to take it and going to do just a little bit more welding. And then bring this thing back over and square up this bearing surface, because this is what drives this. Literally, the roller bearings are this long, and they just kind of hang on to this, and there's nothing out on this end, so it just kind of sits there. And so we want to get this squared up before we actually do any final cuts on this. So we're going to take it back off and take it back out and do a little welding. And we'll be back. Well, okay, it turns out that the way they machined it originally was between centers. So what we're going to do is set this thing up between centers again, except I'm going to get a bunch of vibration if I do that. I think what I'll do is set it up in the forejaw here, and then square it up, and then set that between the center, and go from there. Now if I can just find my, there it is. Okay, so we're going to just bring it down on this, I'm assuming the pulley goes on this surface, and it's a pretty accurate surface, so we're just going to barely touch down on it. That's good. And we'll get some aluminum chips. And use those so we can really crank down on this thing. Okay, so what we want to do is we're going to loosen everything up a little bit. We need to pull this out just a tad so we can get a reading on it. And I think we got what we want. Okay, so here's our surface. And of course, I hate these things because they're always in the way. Doesn't matter what you do. But this time it wasn't too bad. All right, oops. Bang it against that a little bit. And we're only out by 1,000,000 miles. We want to come this way. Okay, we're down to about 5. Let's tighten everybody up and see what we got. Okay, we're sitting at about 5. Oh, that brought it right into within about a half a thou. I think I like that. Let's take it over to this side and see what we got. Okay, I'm seeing we're out by about 10 thousandths on this side. And that's not good. So let's do this. We could just have something jamming up inside of there. Little high pressure grease. All right, let's see what we got now. That's a little better, but it's still about 5 or 6 out. Let's get it straight on here. And more like 7 or 8. So obviously the center is not center. Ha! Well, go figure that. Pretty close. But I think what we want to do is get it pretty much right on. So we back up our and we start tapping on this until it centers up. Well, that pretty much took care of it. Okay, just a little bit more. There we go. Within about a half a thou. Now, we're going to try faking it first by coming in with a very fine tip and do a 30-degree cut on that. I mean, just barely there. And see if we can get that without it throwing it off. And if we can, that'll be good. Of course, now I got to find a really fine tip. We got it down to about a thou and a half or 2, and that's not bad for this gear. Remember, it's traveling 1 or 2 RPM, so we're not dealing with howling or anything like that. So I think we're pretty well set. We're ready to go. I'm going to go back over to the other side and test that to see if we're still in line there. All right, you may have noticed that I've reversed my direction, and that is because I've got these aluminum pads under the forejaw, and this whole thing, as we're traveling this direction, this whole thing is moving, which loosens up on the tailstock. And if I go that direction, I'm pushing against the tailstock all the time, and it's keeping it nice and tight. And it cuts just the same, so I'm not really too, I mean, you know, it doesn't cut as efficiently, but right now we're in rough cut anyhow, so who cares? Okay, now that we're down most of the way, I'm going to switch over to a high-speed bit. It's just going to give me a cleaner surface. Okay, well, we did it, and of course I didn't look up, and the camera ran out of card space. So we've got our size here. It's not as smooth as I'd like, but still, you know, we're going to cut teeth into it, so there's not going to be a whole lot showing on this part here. So, but we are down to size. Now we need to come in and clean up that outside face. Okay. And I'm just going to kind of hand hold this and see if we can do that. right, that looks pretty good. We got that one spot right there, and luckily it's right in between one of the teeth, so we'll take most of that out. There'll be a little bit of a line right here, and maybe a little bit of a line on that tooth there, and I think that's going to be just fine. Other than that, we got the whole thing. Well, there's one little one here, but it's right in between the teeth, so no big deal. All right, so I think we've got it. Now the problem is we're still waiting for the cutter, and that's going to show up one day, someday soon, hopefully. I want to see if I can get rid of some of this. Looks like we're going to take some maybe 800 grit paper and just touch it and see if we can get that to blend out. Well, hell's bells. We ordered this gear cutter about a month ago from China. You know, it was really the only place we could get it. And it took about 2 or 3 weeks for it to get across the ocean. And it landed in San Leandro, California, which is over there in the Bay Area. And it stayed there for 3 or 4 days. And I assumed, okay, well, that's pretty cool. It's it's going through customs. And then it bounces over to West Sacramento, which is about 60 miles from us. And that was on June 5th. It is now June 18th or 17th. And it's still sitting in Sacramento. So I have called everybody I can call to figure out what happened. I'm guessing that it got knocked out of a cart somewhere and it's sitting up against a corner, or I've been told that the West Sacramento station doesn't have any people in it. It's just packages going through automation. So it's sitting there, which means we're not finishing this thing. And what can you do? You just kind of sit there and wait, and we may have to go ahead and order it again and wait another month. So I think what we're going to do is the next series is we're going to bring that up, and this is really just one more segment, and when this cutter shows up, we'll film it, we'll move forward and cut into the next series. And hey, it'll all be good. This is Nick Collier. For now, checking out.